Now, you've no doubt heard of software as a service, SaaS. You may also have heard of data as a service, DaaS. But now there's a new kid on the block, nature as a service, or NaaS. What is it? Why is it important? How will it help with the climate crisis? To answer these questions, I recently spoke with Matt Johnson from the global company NTT. I opened by asking Matt, what is nature as a service?
So nature as a service, really, from my point of view, is really about putting value on diversity and ecosystems so that organizations, such as utilities and energy companies within the UK, can incorporate them into their decision-making process. And it really is a shift from seeing nature as that passive resource to managing it as I believe, as an active service. So what does that really mean for businesses? Well, that means you've got to measure the biodiversity impacts with real-time data. We need to enhance resilience through nature-based solutions, and we'll talk about those later. And really important, how we align with regulations like the Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosure, or TNFD. And finally, it's about creating financial incentives for conservatism, such as biodiversity credits. And I think by taking that approach, companies can future-proof their operations, reduce their environmental risks, and what's really important, contribute to a more healthier planet.
Yeah, I love this idea of sort of monetizing how conservation gets delivered. It's what will make it happen. It provides a much better incentive. Okay, well, I get that. How does technology play into this? Why don't people just do it with the tools that they've already got? What is the role of technology in this initiative?
To me, Piers, I think there's three key drivers, and the three key elements that, I'm really entrenched and embed myself in with our clients. And that's, one is around, we all talk about AI, but that's really important. IoT and satellite imagery, they're really making it possible now to monitor and protect biodiversity like never before. And some of those innovations at the moment are including satellite monitoring and analytics, and that helps us track deforestation and ecosystem health. IoT sensors, which are already there in a lot of organizations, but now we're spreading that sensor footprint, as it were, to measure things like soil and water quality in real time. Digital twins has been around for quite a while, but now we're really enhancing that to simulate more around how human activities impact biodiversity, not capital infrastructure as it's typically being used. And last but not least, which really goes back to that financial incentive we talked about, is blockchain-based biodiversity credits and how we can incentivize those efforts to move that forward.
And for people not familiar with these, I mean, this is so important because, with these BNG credits, you've got to stop people from denuding the ground before they do this work so that they get maximum credits. And that's where they use, as you said, the satellite imagery to go back in time, see what it looked like beforehand. The blockchain to protect the credits so that people don't sell them onwards. I mean, that's so... It's astonishing, isn't it, how this modern technology is really coming to play to provide levers here. It's very exciting. Now, you obviously work for NTT Data. People watching this broadcast might not know who NTT Data are. So can you give me the 20-second description?
Yeah, sure. So NTT Data, our roots we're part of the NTT group. So we're one of the largest global telecommunication companies on the planet. We're very large. We're over 100 billion in revenue. We have over 300,000 professional employees across the globe. And we cover everything from satellite communications, obviously as inbred in a telecommunication company, through to the systems integration, advisory, strategy work, managed services, cloud. And we have an extremely large sustainability practice within the UK and Europe. I hope that's short and sweet.
No, that was very good. And the bit I wanted to sort of get across was the scale, because usually the bigger organizations get, the more cumbersome they get, the less innovative they get, because you end up with lots of procedures and processes. And I love the fact that NTT Data, at the scale you are, you're still striving to be quite disruptive. All right, now let's come back to nature as a service. Give me some case studies. I want to get a sense of, is this just a pipe dream or is stuff actually happening?
No, as I say, these are real. The four areas that I talked about, using AI, IoT, sensor information, is really, really important. So at NTT Data, we're helping organizations look at NAS, such as data-driven decision-making. So we're using AI-powered analytics and satellite imagery. as a telecommunication company, the one thing we're really special is we own the satellite assets out there. So we actually can manage and monitor land degradation in real time. And we're using that data for companies looking to minimize their environmental impact and comply with emerging regulations. Secondly, we do, and a lot of organizations do this, but we do have that as well, is regulatory compliance and ESG reporting. So we provide platforms that automate ESG reporting, help companies align with TNFD and the EU biodiversity strategy and other frameworks that are out there. Thirdly, we do AI-driven risk assessment. So we've got predictive AI models that help companies assess their biodiversity risk before the project even begins. You know, as you mentioned before, by not getting it right, there's a massive cost implication about not getting that right and the regulatory fines that could be part of that. Again, in smart cities and urban biodiversity, we're helping there, you know, looking at green corridors to intelligent water management systems. You know, and our goal is, you know, which is a real good ethos of us, is to create urban environments that support both people and nature. And last but not least, and we've talked about that before, is biodiversity credit platforms. We develop a lot of those through biodiversity marketplaces, so businesses can invest in nature and offset their impact in a transparent and verifiable way.
Nice, I like it. Now, and you obviously mentioned across a lot of industries. Just tell me finally, are you doing stuff with water utilities? And if so, can you say who?
I can't say who, Piers, but we're working with several. We've got a lot of work that we've leveraged in Spain. Obviously, the weather in Spain is a lot more severe than, you know, historically that we've had in the UK around drought management and vegetation management. And we're using those solutions across a couple of utility clients in the UK, which we're hopefully nice to share sometime in the future.
Thank you, Matt. As Matt mentioned there, they are talking to a number of utilities about trialling their nature as a service offering, and we hope to bring you some direct feedback from the end users, ideally, on how those trials have gone over the coming months. But this is a very exciting development.